So I'm here with Uwe Boll, the filmmaker, director, writer of this really cool film called First Shift. Cop drama set in New York City with interlocking stories. How much of an ambitious screenplay, how hard was it for you to write the script? Because you have so many different subplots and they ultimately converge.
Yeah, so I had actually the subplots first. So I was for years I write down ideas and I wrote down that for example, that an old guy gets a heart attack and his dog is still in front of the supermarket. So I write a lot like just random ideas down, and then sometimes they lead to nothing, sometimes they lead to a film in the end. And I always wanted to do a cop film in New York. So now I didn't saw directly like, okay, how can I interconnect that? But the idea was then like, okay, let's do it. That all plays in one day and everything happens parallel to two cops who need to work together the first time. And the actors, Kristen Renton and Gino Pizzi, they brought a lot of humor in. So we worked together on the script, on the dialogue, on the backstory they had, like where she comes from. It was her idea because she lives in New Orleans, but her idea was, I'm coming from Atlanta into New York. It's not my territory. So that made the film so much better, the whole dynamic and chemistry between them. Because when you read the original one, what I wrote, it was very dark and hard, as the subplots are. And I think the film gained so much quality based on that two actors.
You know, a lot of people, writers, they say when they have a dream, they will have a notebook by them. And when they maybe wake up from the dream, they'll write up some of the ideas or just that's probably some of the stories they write. And when they wake up, they go back to the story and whatnot. All these fragments or ideas that you have, do you have a drawer full of just ideas that you've written over the years? A
Yes.
treasure trove? Oh,
Yeah. Like, but when sometimes I just talk it in my phone, when I had like an idea for a good scene or a good character or a good plot. Some movies I had the plot first, like the big plot first, but I didn't have the characters or the little stories and the little dramas in between. This took them time to develop. But sometimes, as with First Shift, I had really ideas for scenes and a general setup, but I didn't have the idea how this whole day plays out. Also, like for example, the brother from her was not her brother in my first draft. It was just a random other family, right? And then we felt together, what is if it is the brother? And that is great. So I'm very much open for, as soon I think that's the first draft, to open myself for actors too, to bring their ideas. And I think some actors are very strong in bringing ideas. Other actors they want to have it completely written out, and that is what they do. So, and with Gino and Kristen, it was different. It was really like a big collaboration with the actors.
you know, with a movie like First Shift or your work, Uwe, there's a strong sense of cinema language and a strong point of view. And I'm just a cinephile. When I see, sometimes I'll see a lot of big budget movies, and to me, the images and compositions just seem vanilla and the same. And by the end of the film, I don't even know what I saw. It just feels like images washing over me. But your stuff, they have a strong POV. What do you think a lot of films, especially big budget studio films, are missing? Do you see a little bit of a vanilla taste when you see these type of tentpole movies, which just wash over you seconds after you watch the movie, as opposed to maybe your work?
Yeah, I think I try to put a personal touch in everything. Also, my point of views of the world and political films like A South on Wall Street, Rampage, and stuff like this. But I think that makes a filmmaker out in a way, And I think now in this time, you're totally right with the Marvel stuff and whatever. Yes, it looks all great. It's spending a lot of money. There are a lot of good actors in, but it's overall exchangeable, and you feel you never even saw the personality of the director in all of them at all. They're like anonymous, It's like it's not sorry, my dog's barking in the back.
No.
So it's like this kind of feeling where you have like, yeah, but where are the filmmakers? You think you have a great technical crew who put on screen what is written there, but it's not nothing where you feel any personality to it anymore. Then it's a big problem. Also with the, of course, amount of films through the streamers. There are event films with 150, $200 million, and you just see them for 1 week on a streamer, and then they disappear basically forever. It's sad. And I try to, of course, with less budget, but I always try to tell something what is engaging, what is entertaining, but at the same time where you get a little more out of it as just entertaining. So, yeah, maybe I'm just old-fashioned with it, yeah.
So I'm assuming with working with Kristen, and you worked with her on this first shift, and then now you also worked with her on Run, I believe. What has been the maybe 2-year collaboration with her been like for you as a filmmaker and she as an actress? What do you see in her, and what makes your, I guess, team work, I suppose?
Yeah, I wanted Gino in Run too, but we made the decision together we cannot do that because we cannot make a film where these two are cops in New York, and then it's a totally different thing. So Gino has another job in Pittsburgh also, so it was all good. But no, with Kristen, it was so good collaboration that she's so disciplined and prepared that I felt doing a film. Run is about migration, is about a lot of Africans in the film and all that stuff, and I know she will adjust also to them. To a lot of there were like sometimes 150 extras and stuff like this. And I know also she will get good along with the other actors. In Run, we have James Russo, Ulrich Thompson, Bakar Abdi, Amanda Plummer. So we had a lot of bigger actors in the film. And I know she will fit right in. And yeah, and that was also the case. And I would always hire her. I would also hire Gino. And I hired for Run Daniel Soli, like he played the mafia guy who then gets shot from Gary Pastore. So he is in my film Run too, but he for a real reason, because the film plays in Italy and he speaks perfectly Italian. So I used him as an Italian cop, and he needs to talk English with all the English actors, and he needs to talk local, playing the cop. So he was the perfect choice for this too.
He's great. He's really great in First Shift. My only complaint is I want to see a sequel immediately. Is there any shot? You must be so busy as a filmmaker, but is maybe a script or an idea in your drawer as well down in the future? Because these two leads and the story, I want a continuation of their partnership.
100%. It's like we already have, we want to do like, we have two options. We do a trilogy, or we do 6 or 8 episodes, right? So, and I hope, of course, that the movie is doing well on the streamers, and I think it will run on Showtime later this year too. So that would be very good, so that we have this kind of maybe there we get money, that they say, look, let's do this. Let's do another part. Let's do an 8-part mini series with these two people. There are loose ends in the story, but there's also, I set it up, the end, right? I set the end up that it continues because I loved it so much. I would love to do more First Shift, films or as a TV series. And there's so many good TV cop shows, but I think First Shift looks really theatrically. We shot CinemaScope, like it looks kind of different as a normal CSI or Blue Bloods, or it doesn't look too much TV, I think, and that is good. And I love this kind of shows when it's not necessarily every episode is one case and the case is closed. And I think First Shift would be great. I think people would watch it also if it's on cable TV or a network.
Well, you mentioned directing 150 extras. Your body of work spans so many different genres. You're also a producer. From your perspective, what makes a great leader in a filmmaker? How have you been able to lead, I guess, your respective cast and crew, no matter what the movie is? Is there a secret to that?
It's funny because I just watched a documentary about Postal, about the video game, and they talk about the film too, and they interviewed the actors, and they said, when Uwe comes with the German accent, he's the leader. It was actually funny, a note from Chris Coppola. And no, but I think a good filmmaker, producer, director has to be, on one hand, aware that everybody works hard and everybody like should have fun on set, but also, and I never had the problem with it because I started as a total independent, very small filmmaker, like with cheap films. I need to be a driving force to everybody. I need to move it forward, and that is so in my flesh and blood that being a lot of times the producer and director, it's like I don't let the people slow down. So I keep them moving. You know, I don't want that everybody goes in a trailer. For example, in First Shift or in Run, we didn't had any movie trailers where the actors could hide. You know, they were all like on set the whole time, and I like, no, you stay here, and let's keep going. And I think that the actors actually like this. I have to say, like when I talk to actors, they say we are actually bored on a lot of shows where we're just sitting there and waiting for the next setup, for the next shot. And they like it to be like, in a way, part of the crew, being there and moving forward, that we shoot, like I shoot always with two cameras, and to move fast. And then it's also, I can give them, because we have a little more time, and also I give them their shots too, right? Then where they let me try that totally different. We have the time to do this, and that it's good to have additional stuff in the editing room.
Final couple questions. Your memoir, how long did it take for you to actually shape it, and what was the joy as far as writing your memoir? Was that a big challenge for you?
Yeah, it was. I'm not the fastest writer, so it took almost a year, you know. But for me, it was important also in the memoirs to write about my childhood, how the upbringing was, and how I got into the movie business. More about the way into the movie business, and then, of course, I mean, I made so many films. I had to do chapter by chapter the movies and my experiences on the individual movies. Some films, of course, you have fond memories, and you have like a lot of stories to tell because a lot of things happened during the shoot, like Blood Rain in Romania. I mean, it was the most crazy shoot I maybe ever did. And so I wanted that the readers getting not only this typical director book where you get to know what he did, like what the director did. I wanted that they know also about me after, like what I'm feeling, where I'm coming from, what I think about the world we're in. And so it took time, and then we had to translate it. I wrote it in German first, and we had to translate it properly. And then the editor who did the English, we discussed some stuff because I think he translated it, but he didn't get it really what I was saying. And so we had to do a lot of work in the edit of the book later. And I'm very proud of the book. I'm happy that it comes out, and I hope a lot of people will order it and read it, because it's not the typical Hollywood book, you know, where you have the feeling somebody just wants to make himself looking good or something.
Sugar
There's a
coat.
lot of you know, this not only humor in, but also it's like, I know that some of my films were not good. I know that, you know, like stuff like this, but I also try to make the audience understand that sometimes it's just like, it's not happening. Right. So it's like sometimes you're in a lose-lose situation with a project, and so on. And also when the movie comes out, makes a huge impact on how successful a movie gets.
Final question. I'm definitely going to pick up the memoir. And just a
Thank
very quick question. Christina Loken, when I interviewed her, one of her proudest films that she's most proud of is Attack on Darfur. Is that going to be in your memoir as well? And just very quickly, your overall, how much of it is in the book?
Yeah, so I wrote a whole chapter about this. I mean, it was the most emotional film we ever did. And also it crashes. The thing is with Darfur, I think it's maybe my best film I ever made, but it's also very hard to watch again, right? So like a film like Postal or Rampage, I saw on Wall Street, I can watch them all day long. But or First Shift, right? It's so we showed it in Germany in a movie theater. The people really liked it, and it's an easy to watch film. Like you have a connection to the cops, you know, like you are like the humor is in. But Darfur is an important movie. You know, it's this kind of like a film you don't forget. And I just worked again with Sami Shaikh on Run, and he was in Darfur, the Janjaweed, the bad guy, the real bad guy. And he said because of Darfur only, he said he had a career. He said he got hired for American Sniper from Clint Eastwood only because of the Darfur film. He got hired for the Mark Wahlberg film Lone Survivor only because of the Darfur film. And he said a lot of people, what I don't know, because I didn't saw a Twitter from Clint Eastwood, I watched Darfur, but I think there is no way that you watch Darfur and you're not like deeply attached to the emotions what everybody went through with shooting the film with real Sudanese refugees, right? So I mean, they were not like extras who lived in New York or something. There were real refugees in Africa who we made act in the film what happened to them. That was very hard on them, you know, but it was also for me an opportunity because we paid them good to help them in a way, right? They got money and they were very proud to be part of the film.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed First Shift and continued success.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right.
Okay,
Have a great day.
bye.
Bye bye.